Hey Keith, I'm going to do a video of our can line for you just so you can see what we're dealing with. This is the Cask V5, and this is before today's can run, which means I have not started cursing at it yet. I cannot say a single good thing about this V5. The sensor up here is something that we had to replace because the cask engineering is fucking awful, and we are going to have to end up replacing the same position sensor for the pusher over here because cask engineering is awful. If you look close on the pusher, I had to glue a washer on just to make sure that the sensor at this end can still read it, because the engineering of cask is fucking awful, and that pusher will bounce back even after three of us, two mechanical engineers, have been dicking with the two adjustment screws. This D-pal is just that fucking awful. And that pusher is just a terrible design. Also, this is a whole goddamn metal shelf, which means, yeah, a whole goddamn metal shelf, which means you have material handling to push this. Cask actually designed this around a forklift loading your cans, and you've got 3/4 inch steel tubing, which, do the math, if a forklift were to bump 3/4 inch steel tubing, exactly what you think would happen. So if you buy a Cask D-pal, buy two so you can throw them both away. And then from that layer, this is something that Tim was able to bolt on and change the orientation. Let me walk around to the other side. This D-pal, when we worked with Cask, was originally rotated anti-clockwise 90 degrees, so we would load pallets in this way. Tim Warren was like, look, we can just change the single filer from here to over here, which allowed us to wrap this closer to the wall and really shorten our footprint. I can't say enough good things about Tim Warren. Now, that sounds like a compliment to the D-pal. Let me assure you, I'm not complimenting the D-pal. I am complimenting Tim Warren. And let me walk over to the filling station, and I will compliment the V5 filler. I really love this thing. So here's a good long view where it just boom comes right down through the twist rinse, and you better believe that is a nice gorgeous crown tier sheet to work as my cage tunnel, because Cask doesn't have spray tubing, meaning that all of the overspray just goes everywhere. So there's a nice $5 solution, which again, I will not compliment Cask D-pal. Do not buy Cask D-pal. And then here we go into the filler, which I love the V5. This is actually pretty great filling technology. Cask, Wild Goose, I believe even ABE, if you had to go that route, would have it. CO2 filling heads, so you fill your cans with CO2 first. And then something that I really love is the dual filling tubes here. So one side has some poppets, which all the electronics control. That allows you to actually partially open the valve, foam the beer, and you can actually control your fill levels absolutely beautifully. And then this third bit is the sensor, continuity sensor, so when foam hits it, boom, your circuit's complete, it knows when to stop. That is absolutely delightful. I really love that Cask has CO2 plumbed to the can end, so you're actually purging the air from underneath the can end, so it really helps with packaged oxygens. They make their own seamer, which, Jesus, everyone in the market uses Angelus seamers. I was super nervous about using a Cask seamer, but this thing has been wonderful. I can compliment this filler all day long. The star wheels are beautiful, the plastic's nice, it's pretty easy to keep clean. The software lags a bit, so if I were to critique anything, that would be one area where I do get annoyed with it. As you learn it, then you'll learn your own reactions. And one thing that I absolutely love is that there's the average of my last run. And if I go over status, config, there we go. I told the machine that 495 grams was my full can weight, and you go by specific gravity, a can and end. We weighed it at 16 grams, boom, keep it on the machine. So now I can go 25 grams above, 25 grams below. Canada does not have a requirement. In the States, I was used to, I had to be a 1/4 ounce of 12-ounce bottle, and I had to average that. It was up to every brewer to report their own average, but in Canada, we don't have that tolerance. I like to go 2%, so 25 is my lower end, and I really wish I could put this up to a maximum of 50. The 25 is the max. For our island, I'm gonna be the longest shipper, well, maybe Brian up in Lab City. Talking 8 hours on a road, the headspace of an overfill isn't much of an issue. We're not gonna create gushers to customers, so I wish I could set that higher, but really that's splitting hairs. And then on the main, one thing that I love is that you can now control foaming, and you can control seconds of foaming, and you can control top up, so you can overfill. Once it hits that continuity sensor, valve 1 is a pain in the ass because of one of the designs of the filler. It crushes the can a bit, so I have to overfill it a little bit. That's just a headache that I deal with. And that allows me to get these super tight fill levels, which is fucking awesome. So now I know I'm sending good product to the customer. So for the V5 filler, I will compliment it. It is a absolutely wonderful filler. We were budgeted to run 25 cans a minute, and with our head pressures with the nitrogen generator, this thing can put out 35 cans a minute for the whole run, and that makes it really delightful for a run. As it comes out, they've got air knives, they've got water, and then it was still too wet for previous labeling, so we went ahead and bought a section of conveyance with air knives so that we can then go into our L50 labeler. And well, today will be the first day of the rubber adhesive labels, so I hope that they stick on the cans today. I'll report later today as they do it, and then boom, off to a pack off table, and then we build our pallets. So I hope that answers your questions. One thing I will point out is this goddamn shelf right here. Again, the D-PAL's a piece of shit. Putting the tier sheets horizontally is a giant waste of space. It creates all kinds of problems. Ska sends theirs vertically, so as the tier sheet comes off, it just curls down into a nice collection tray. It's so easy to grab. It's delightful. And instead of having a metal shelf, they just use 3 sides of angle iron to create a U, and then your aircraft cable is rigged up vertically. Your turnbuckles are in line vertically, so you just shove it in with a pallet jack and it lifts up. I can't say enough good things about Ska. I will not compliment this D-PAL. It is junk. Do not buy a Cask D-PAL. Any other questions? I'm really impressed with the filler, so I will say good things there. Any questions? Let me know.